And so I just want you to remember, while we're moving today, while we're breathing together today, just be conscious of the fact that you are doing that with a community. You are doing that with people who are doing that with you right now in this moment. So let's get started in a seat. Find a comfortable seat. And I recommend placing a block or a pillow underneath you so that the knees can be in line with the hips. If you have any knee injuries or pain, you can just allow your legs to extend long. And in honor of our Crown Chakra practice, we're going to find a soul or a lotus mudra right at our heart center by placing the palms and the thumbs and the pinkies together. And then the middle fingers are going to splay out like so. So if you look at it, you see that it looks like a lotus flower. And you can either just steady your gaze softly at that lotus right at your heart, or you can choose to close your eyes. Let's arrive with 3 cleansing breaths in through the nose, out with a big sigh. 2 more. You can come to a natural breath in and out of the nose. And so the lotus flower is a symbol in both the Hindu and Buddhist traditions. You can think of imagine the lotus, it is nurtured and it grows and it emerges through muddy waters. It blooms where there's no clarity. And the beauty of the lotus is unique to its environment, which appears monotonous and lacks vibrancy. When you reach the unfurling of the 7th chakra, this crown chakra, you emerge through the confines of the physical body, the ego, mind, and intellect. You even can push beyond the individual soul ties to samsara, also known as the endless cycle of birth and rebirth. You are freed from the shackles of desire. This white light surrounds your body and you can appear to stand out in your murky surroundings. Release your hands down to the lap, palms face down. And I invite you to find a silent mantra of Om, O-M. Om symbolizing the consciousness, the simultaneous nothingness and everything. That is this crown chakra, this Sahaswara. And you can continue to come back to that mantra, Om, Om, Om. You can repeat that in your mind if you begin to get distracted from the practice, from the breath, the experience. If you need, you can rearrange the knees, the legs, so that the opposite foot is in front, or you can just stay in stillness where you are. Continue to notice your breath as it rises in and out of the nasal passage. You can begin to imagine a light that sits within you. And it can be anywhere that you feel that light exists within you. And we can use this light to contact the spirit that exists within ourselves. So as you begin to draw deeper breaths, imagine as you inhale that point of light that begins to exude brilliant white energy. And then on the inhale, on the exhale, allow that light just to warm your whole being. So every inhale, this light grows brighter and radiates out further from your inner self until it extends into every part of your body. And every exhale, you feel that soothing warmth run through your whole being. And just be here for a few more moments. See what exists within you. Allow yourself to fully experience this moment. Good, and then bring palms together, heart center. And I invite you to create the intention for your practice of consciousness. And then we'll open our eyes and come forward into our hands and knees, just in a way to begin to awaken the body. So we like to keep our body energized, even though we're turning inwards. And so we'll do that by finding a few rounds of cat-cow, lowering the belly, lifting the gaze as you breathe in. Exhale to round through the spine, tuck the chin into the chest. Do that for a few more rounds. So keeping energized so that when we turn in and notice, we can really be with that experience, be fully conscious in that experience. Let's find 2 more rounds of those cat-cows. Next time you round the spine, hold that. Begin to shift the hips back towards the feet. Keep the round in the spine. Keep about 6 inches from the hips to the feet. Keep the chin tucked in towards the chest. So looking to stretch the back of the neck in between the shoulders. And then on your next exhale, find a child's pose, but bring that big pillow or the bolster, or maybe a rolled up towel, something that would make sense to place under your belly so that you can rest one cheek on the bolster and just have your arms comfortably around it with the palms face up. Allow yourself just to melt down into that space. And if you don't have any kind of prop that can support you like that, just allow yourself to rest down and towards the ground. So I'm going to put my timer on for 1 minute. And after that 1 minute, we will switch sides to the other cheek. I ask you to begin counting your breaths, starting now. From the inhale to the exhale, counting as 1. And so we're looking to see how many breaths you take in 1 minute. And if you lose count, it's okay. You can just start back to 1. No problem. Good. Stop counting. Switch your head to the other side so that the opposite cheek is on your pillow. See if you can drop down just a little bit heavier. Trust the supporting space below you. We're going to do a minute again. This time, see if you can feel less breath count. So take a fewer amount of breaths in that 1 minute. So it's going to encourage you to slow your breathing down. You can begin now. And as you count, notice where you feel that breath. You might even choose to send the breath into certain spaces that need it most. Stop counting. So that is your minute. And we'll come back to that when we'll be timing. And the amount of time that we take is up to you. So each minute is up to your breath count. Go ahead and release the bolster from underneath you. And now drop to the belly. Spread the knees a little bit wider. Let the big toes be in towards each other and just allow the body to drop down. You can choose, if you like, to bring your hands around your ankles and hugging your heels. It can be a nice restorative posture. And we won't stay there long. We'll close our knees towards each other and come into rabbit pose, bringing the crown of the head on the ground. So the crown of the head is the space where we embody our crown chakra. And placing the crown of the head on the ground, let the chin tuck in towards the chest. Bring your hands or the fingertips to the outside of the heels. And maybe they don't reach and you just bring them to the calves or the ankles, that's fine too. What we're looking is to bring stimulation right at the top of the head, along the scalp, as well as to stretch the whole back of the body. I invite you to breathe in through the back of the body. And then find your 1 minute breath count. That's as long as we'll stay here. And so the true opening of Sahasrara, of this crown chakra, means the realization that you are pure awareness. Breathe in your pure awareness. Your pure consciousness. You can imagine that you're like a drop in the ocean. And you are a part of that ocean that contains and encompasses every aspect of it. After your minute, allow yourself just to drop back down onto your thighs. And maybe your hands just stay by your feet, palms face up. The shoulders round forward. So the opposite of the way that we usually think to hold our shoulders when we're working on our posture. Just let your shoulders melt forward. Just for a few more rounds of breath. And then in your own time, slowly begin to work your way up, back to that tabletop position. And so we'll transition ourselves into a down dog, once again, to keep that crown chakra activated. If you'd like, you can rock the hips side to side. You can find more rounds of cat-cow. And if you know that when you bring your head below your heart that you get dizzy, then I ask you just to stay here in this tabletop position and find movements in this position that feel good. Otherwise, you can tuck your toes under and begin to lift your hips up and back, pushing away from the earth with the palms, spreading the feet wide on the mat. And then walk your dog out, bending one knee, straightening the other. Breathe into the back of that hamstring. And then switch sides. We won't be here very long. Just enough to relax the nervous system. Allow the heart a little break. And then slightly bend both knees. Lift the hips up. Pull the navel to the spine. Take a big breath in through the nose here. And let it go audibly through the mouth. Do 4 more like that. Big breath in. 3 more. You can always come out of any pose early. You can stay longer in any pose. So if you need to stay in this down dog, stay. If you're ready to come out, come back onto your knees, and then we'll come all the way to our belly and grab that bolster or pillow again if you have it. If you don't have it, no problem. If it's there though, place it under your ribs, close to your chest. So closer to the chest than to the lungs. We don't want to constrict our breathing. And then allow the forearms to rest on the ground. And so that having the bolster underneath us just helps us to be more supportive. So we really don't have to work through the shoulders at all. You can really be heavy through the chest and breathe through the whole front of the body. You can choose to allow the chin to drop down towards the chest. And you might play with a few different options. You can also choose to drop the head back, opening through the throat. Maybe you'd like to draw some half circles with the head, stretching through each side of the neck. And breathe in and out of the nose. And so the body parts that are associated with this Sahaswara are the head, brain, and the nervous system. Which is why we like to put ourselves upside down, bringing our head below the heart, and as well as opening the heart space in balancing the chakra. Another mantra that is good to be used here, if you want more than just that Om, is the phrase Sa, Ta, Na, Ma. So you might close your eyes and try it with me now, saying to yourself Sa as you breathe in, pausing at the top of the breath, saying Ta, exhaling Na, pausing at the bottom, Ma. So inhale, sa. Pause, ta. Exhale, na. Pause, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. This mantra can be used to catalyze change. It can be used to increase your intuition, balance the hemispheres of your brain. And it describes the continuous cycle of life and creation. Sa, ta, na, ma. Between now and 3 breaths from now, you can slowly remove the bolster from underneath you and stack one hand on top of the other. Rest your forehead on the hands. Allow the feet to be wide on the mat. Allow the heels to drop out, the toes to fall in. Crocodile. Feel your heart beating inside your chest. This is one of the best asanas for curing problems related to the back and stress. It's the perfect way to drop down and let go. And this asana is like Shavasana, in that it provides relaxation and stressing release to your entire body. You can also see about using your abdomen, which is pressed against the ground, to gradually smooth out your breath and in a continuous wave of motion. You might begin to sense where there's asymmetry or congestion in your inhale and exhale and throughout the body. Begin to establish seamlessness in the breath, soothing out the transition between the inhale and the exhale. And then bend your knees. Begin to sway your feet side to side. And so this yin-style restorative practice is meant to draw us inward. It's meant to be slow and steady. And so again, if there are any postures that you'd like to stay in, you can stay in for as long as you like. If there are any postures that your body simply does not like, you can get out of them or find something else that your body wants. Release your feet down, and we'll just push our way up into a seat. One more time, finding a seat. So coming back to that place where we started. You can allow your feet to be under your hips if you'd like, or you can find another cross-legged position. And then just close your eyes. Palms can face down. Or you can find that lotus mudra again at the heart center. And just check in. Asking yourself how you feel differently now compared to when you first came to the mat. What does it feel like to be in your body in this moment? And then we'll find Kapalabhati, also known as skull shining breath. Both hands on the belly, so right hand on the navel and left hand over that. And so once again, bringing our energy back up so we can maintain that consciousness. So if you know where we're going, you can begin to find it. Otherwise, I'll describe it. So the skull shining is in and out through the nose, rapid breathing. We're going to move through the belly. So you're going to feel the belly pushing in and out of the hands. Focus more on the exhale than on the inhale. And we'll do about 30 to 50. And so just know that we'll stop eventually. If it gets to be too much, you can stop. All right, so here we go. Big breath in. Go. Ten more. Rest. Bring one hand to the heart. And just be with that sensation. Allow what is to be. Honor that sensation, whatever it is. And we'll open our eyes. And we are going to slowly transition our way into pigeon pose. We're going to start with the left side, and I want you to check that you have a pillow available. Even if you don't usually, I want you to place a pillow under your right hip or a block. We're going to shift our left foot so that it's towards the right hand. Left knee is going to be towards the left hand. You're going to pull that pillow all the way underneath you so that the left hip is super supported. Intentionally a little bit lifted. If you find that when you go here that hurts your knee, just come to your back and you can place your right ankle over your left ankle over your right thigh with the right knee bent. Before you release down, grab your other pillow if you have it or a few blocks and place it in front of you. So again, we really want to allow ourselves to be heavy here, and so we want ourselves to be supported. Check that the left foot is really relaxed, that the left leg is relaxed. And so you'll notice as you relax that left foot that it'll probably draw closer in towards the body. That's okay. That's what we want. And then on the inhale, lift up from the heart. And on the exhale, begin to drop yourself down, chest towards the pillow or the block. And you can hug the pillow if you like, and play with bringing the left cheek or the right cheek to the mat or to the pillow. And if you are using blocks, they might look a little bit different. It would look like one block under the chest and the other block under the forehead. You might even stack multiple blocks or pillows on top of each other to get that good placement. We're going to be here for about a minute and a half. So we've already been here about 30 seconds. So in total, it'll be about 2 minutes. Allow yourself to breathe into that left hip. Allow each exhale to bring just a little bit more softness. A lot of forcing, but an allowing of a release. When you hear the wind chime in a few seconds, that'll be your indicator to drop a little bit deeper. Maybe to remove the bolster if it's available to you. You'll know if it's available if you've lost the stretch edge. If you're no longer feeling much sensation, that's a hint that you can drop deeper. And there it is. Between now and 3 breaths from now, slowly make your way up. Hands under shoulders. Pushing yourself back to a lifted position. And then we'll just bring the pillow kind of towards the middle of the mat. Shift onto the left hip. The right leg is going to come around like so that the sole of the left foot is on the inside of the right leg. And we're all going to be sitting on that pillow that was underneath your left hip. And then again, before we do anything, so we're preparing for Janusirsasana, I want you to check that that right foot is heavy. It might fall out or in. Check that the right thigh is relaxed. And then you can bring the pillow or the bolster on either on top of that right thigh or on the inside of the right thigh. And we'll just begin to round forward. Allow the head to be heavy. Bringing the head towards the knee. Allowing the palms to face up. And see if you can be here without any grasping. Just allowing to be what is. Reaching this place of pure awareness, sometimes it can feel really out of reach for normal humans living a normal lifestyle, especially in really difficult times. And the thing is, it's not out of reach. We can get out of our busy minds. We can escape the confines of the physical body, even if just for a moment. And so Deepak Chopra teaches that we've all experienced these moments at one time or another. For example, maybe when you felt an unconditional love for someone. Or maybe if you've ever experienced a miracle. That is you experiencing the space of pure consciousness. Slowly lift yourself up halfway and bring the right arm on that block or bolster. Allow the left arm to drape over the left ear. Check to see if you can allow the head to be heavy so that the right ear rests on the shoulder. Or do whatever you need to do to allow the neck to soften. No strain in the neck or shoulders. Take 5 full rounds of breath through the left side of the body. Seeing if you can draw it from the left hip all the way up to the left fingertips. And then back down just the way it came in. And when you've completed your cycle of 5 or before, just slowly rise up. And so another way to consistently or and more regularly find this space of pure awareness, the space that we're looking to balance tonight, is through meditation, prayer, and taking daily silence. We'll continue with that later. Slowly transition out and allow that left leg to extend long. Palms behind you, finding a hammock pose, and let the feet be heavy. Allow yourself to drop down into the shoulders. Once again, just allowing the shoulders to round forward. You can allow the chin to drop in towards the chest. And just notice the feeling of dissipation through the legs. So the key indicator of if you're going too far in these yin postures is if you feel any sharp pain or a sharp sensation in one place, that's an indication that you're going too far. So when you release, it should feel like a melting away throughout a broad space. So we're going to do all that in the other side. So if you think you went too deep, challenge yourself by softening up a little bit. So let's prepare for the right side. If you need to do any movement before you get into that right side, such as rocking the hips or another round of cat-cow, feel free to do so. And then we'll begin to bring the right ankle to the left hand, right knee towards the right hand. Maybe you're different on this side. Maybe you need to protect yourself by coming to your back and instead placing the right ankle over the left thigh with the bended knee. Take care of yourself. Honor, without judgment, whatever you're experiencing. Bringing that pillow under the right hip for support, whatever prop you're using. Check that that right foot is relaxed. And then inhale, lift up from the heart. Exhale, begin to drop yourself down. Find the positioning of the head that feels the most natural and supportive. And drop down. And so those disciplines of meditation, prayer, and silence, they can all lead you to increased moments of spiritual connection, of a deeper understanding and appreciation of your true self. And really, these are the only means by which you will experience the essence of this Sahaswara. Again, Deepak shares that just as we go to school for hours a day and we study for exams to obtain a degree, meditation, prayer and silence are your studies to obtain a spiritual degree. Maybe something less tangible, but maybe something much more meaningful. In the last few rounds of breath, see if you can drop down a little heavier. Let go just a little bit more. And then in your own time, moving as slow as possible, hands under shoulders, and slowly work your way up. Shifting over to the right hip. Left leg extends out so that the sole of the right foot is on the inside of the left thigh. Pillow under tailbone. And that just gives ourselves space to round. It allows the pelvis to shift back ever so slightly so that we're not sinking into our whole, really our whole pelvic structure. So once again, relaxing through the left leg, all the way down to the toes, finding that position of the prop that makes sense, and then just begin to round forward. No grasping, no reaching. But setting yourself up so that you have an adequate amount of support. So that your body is not fighting to stay safe. Instead, you can breathe softly into this space. You might choose to come back to the mantra Om. Or maybe if you'd like more, following with your breath, the Sa, Ta, Na, Ma. And so the Sa symbolizes infinity or totality of the cosmos. So breathing in totality. The Ta at the pause at the top symbolizes life. And the Na with the exhale symbolizes transformation. The Ma, the pause at the bottom of the exhale, symbolizes rebirth. So for me, it helps to imagine that. What is happening while I'm breathing? Finding infinity as you breathe in. Life at the pause. Finding transformation as you let that breath go. And rebirth at the pause. Begin to work your way up just halfway. Left forearm on the bolster, palm face up. Right arm up along the shoulders and then over the ear. Sigh of relief is always a good way just to come back, to help the body let go of any stale energy that it still wants to hold on to. Five rounds of breath, just like you did on the other side. Breathe from the left hip up through the left lung, the right hip, right lungs, right arm, right fingers, and then down just the way it came in. Rising up when you've completed that cycle. And once you're ready to rise up, one more time, let's find that hammock pose. Stillness for a moment. Long enough to notice what it is that came up. And then you might draw circles with the ankles, or maybe choose to rock the knees side to side with the feet on the ground. It's up to you. What feels most calling in your body at this moment? And we'll eventually work our way to our back. Keep the big bolster, the big pillow readily available. And grab your blocks if you have them, or a regular pillow. We're going to come into a supported bridge pose. But first, let's just drop down for a moment and allow the feet to be wide and the knees to drop in towards each other. Pressing both hands on the belly. Choose which meditation you want to come to. Maybe you choose to see the light growing brighter as you breathe in and warming, soothing your whole being as you breathe out. Maybe you like the Om mantra or the Sa Ta Na Ma. Whatever you choose, really be with it. And bring your knees back to center and place a block or a pillow under your tailbone so that your hips can drop down into it. So right in the place where your pant pockets would be if you had them. And if you're using a pillow, you might see what it feels like to stack two pillows, one on top of each other. It'll give you just a little bit more lift. And if you have a block, and you'd like to play with two to find a little bit more height, a little bit more pressure under the tailbone, feel free to go there. Hands can rest on the low belly or maybe just to the side, palms face up. So once again, bringing the head below the heart below the hips, allowing the whole nervous system to relax. Allowing the heart to begin to soften. And if you'd like to find more of an inversion, you can lift the feet so that they're over the hips for waterfall pose. And if you went there and once you've made a few rounds of breath there, you might choose to drop your knees back towards your chest. If you do any of this and you find that it brings a pinching sensation, or it brings you past your stretch edge, then just come out of it. No choice is final. If you have plow in your practice, you can lift your hips all the way up, supporting your low back, allowing your knees to drop back towards your head, feet to drop back towards the ground below you. Let's just take 5 more breaths wherever you are. Breaths of surrender. If your hips are up in the air, slowly release, but be mindful of the blocks underneath you. If your feet are up towards the sky, slowly drop them towards the ground. And then we'll all lift our hips just enough to release the props underneath you and slowly release the hips down. Once again, allow feet to be wide, knees to drop in towards each other. Hands rest on the low belly. Long enough to allow the low back to come back to a neutral position, to resettle itself on its own. No drastic movements. Then when you feel that your body is ready, we'll come into a supine twist, bringing the hips to the left. Knees are going to drop to the right. You can place a pillow or block in between your knees if you like. Left hand in line with the left shoulder. Gaze is up or towards the left. And breathe in through the belly. Breathe in through the left hip. Allowing each exhale to just so naturally and easily drop you down deeper towards the right side. And so once we normal humans with normal lives can begin to find little moments of silence and begin to see the little miracles that exist all around us. We can begin to become deeper and deeper connected to universal consciousness. We can begin to see expansion of spiritual awareness throughout the whole outer world, this physical world. We can begin to experience unconditional love on a consistent basis. With these practices, we will be more compassionate, kind, and forgiving. And we will show more humility. Life will no longer be solely about the individual or their desires. Our lives will become more about serving others than about serving ourselves. In your own time, begin to transition back to the center and over to the other side. Take your time. There's no rush to get there. When you arrive into your twist on this side, allow yourself to fully arrive. Maybe use that cleansing breath as a gentle aid. Can you be any heavier? Any softer? Slowly rise up to the center. And we will find our Shavasana. You can drop down just as you are. You might choose to place a blanket over you. I recommend placing something under your knees so they can be slightly bent. It's a nice way to release the low back. And then find your position of comfort, somewhere where the body can be still. You might see about lifting the hips up and tucking them forwards. Another way to make the low back really comfortable in this lying down position. Allow the palms to face up. Before you drop down completely into this position of rest, I ask you, what is your spirit grateful for? spirit. What is it grateful for? Allow that to drop you down into a space of pure consciousness. Each breath bringing you deeper and deeper into that state. Back to that image of what your spirit is grateful for. And take a big breath in, saying, I am grateful for that thing. And on your exhale, say, thank you, thank you, thank you. Do that again. I am grateful for. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Slowly begin to come back. Find some gentle movement. Continue breathing deeply. And I have another reading for you. It's called Trust the Spirit. There is an eternal life energy, a vital principle that animates all of us. Different spiritual traditions express the belief in different ways. Some speak of the Spirit, some of God, some of the One. Essentially, all these traditions agree that the Spirit is the source of our love, all that we are. Trust the Spirit, and you will discover not merely that such trust is justified, but that is the only thing that makes real sense of our lives and creates true joy, whatever our circumstances. Slowly work your way up to a seat, coming back to that position where we started. Moving from corpse pose to fetal pose and then lotus pose. Symbolizing a fresh start and rebirth. Once again, bring palms in a lotus right at heart center. That symbol of purity and freedom. Let's take a breath, feeling every bit of that. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, open the arms out and up towards the sky. Palms together at the top. On the exhale, bring the thumb knuckles down to the third eye for peace in the mind. Thumb knuckles to the lips for peace in the words. Thumb knuckles back to the heart for peace in the heart. Thank you all so much for practicing with me tonight. I hope you have a beautiful evening. Namaste. Thank you, everybody. If you have any questions at all, I'll leave the screen up for a little bit, and so feel free to hang around and chit chat. If you're just really relaxed and you want to go and stay in that space, then stay there. In the email that I sent out, I had a few questions at the bottom. So if you'd like to answer any of those questions about how this practice served you,